Coming to you from the My Little Falls studio, here in beautiful Little Falls, New York, it's your host, Scott Kimball, and another episode of Marty's Illegal Stick.
Hey, what's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 42 of Marty's Illegal Stick, recording here on Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. Number 42. I can't think of any hockey players to jump off the top of my head at number 42, so we'll just skip that part for this week.
What are you talking about? We got what's his name? The Ranger just was released that everybody loved. Two-way player.
Howden?
Nope. Smitty.
Oh, well, yeah, that's why I didn't jump off the top of my head.
Yeah, Brendan Smith.
Oh, boy. Well, there you go. See, Jeremy wins again. So anyways, we have got a fun show lined up for you today. We don't have a guest. So every once in a while, we like to do these theme shows where we just get the panel together, we pick a topic, and we go with it. And guess what? Today just happens to be one of those days. So without further ado, before we get into our theme show, I'm going to bring in our esteemed panel. Of course, to my right, as always, my faithful companion on the podcast here, my father, Leo Gump Kimball. How are you?
Oh, top shelf. I thought I was going to have to swim down here.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you bring your boat?
Well, no, I was trying to get hit in the ass with a lightning bolt, I think, because it was bad down there earlier. But now
that's
nice.
What happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get hit again so I can remember all the names.
Yeah. And to my left, as always, our faithful producer, Mr. Dave the Save Warner. What's happening, pal?
Yeah, not much.
How are you?
Good.
Good?
Was hoping the power stayed on.
Yeah. I know. I was getting a little nervous. I was gonna text you and ask you if you had a generator.
Well, we did Rob's show first, so we got that out of the way. Storm hit right in the middle of that. We could hear it out there, but it was fine. Yeah.
Either that or if you had a clock tower like in Back to the Future.
Could do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And because if anybody could come up with a way to harness 1.21 gigawatts into a podcast, it would be you. So
now you have me thinking.
I'm getting out of here before you get the wires out. Let's just put it that way.
I was thinking the same thing, though, because, oh, boy, I mean, with the lightning and everything, man.
Oh, yeah, it was wild out there.
Don't get excited, Tampa Bay Lightning fans. We're not talking about your team.
Go Cowboys.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
You sure you didn't get hit by lightning?
Yeah.
Twice.
No, this is going to air Thursday night, Tampa Bay. And all right. All right.
Right.
If you get it, I know for you sports guys, that was a stretch.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was. Kind of like you don't know anything about hockey and then,
hello on.
And then light me up with the wrist shot. Sure. Yeah. And joining us via satellite, as always, it's the professor, Jeremy Roberts. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
Not too bad. You?
Well, living the dream.
Yeah. We're getting ready for our season, man.
Oh, it's getting
just a couple of short weeks away.
I know, and then it lasts forever. So
I know.
Hopefully,
might have been the old bowling seasons, yeah.
It's honestly been a few weeks since we've been on the ice. So, I'm actually looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, no, well, with the rink being down, there's nothing we can do about it. So, it'll be fun.
You guys play through the summer, though, don't you?
We like to play pickup, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of course, the night that we open, I have a golf tournament that day for the hockey club. So
the night we play?
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting.
I won't be here either. I'll be in the Poconos.
Yeah, well, somebody will record it and send it to you, I'm sure. So.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, like I was saying, we don't have a guest this week, but we're going to do a theme show. And this week's theme is we are going to build the ideal hockey player. So now this does not include goalies. So that's another show for another time. Those goalies are just a separate entity all their own. But the rules are really simple. We're going to channel our inner Dr. Frankenstein and put together what we think is our ideal hockey player. And we're going to use what would be hockey DNA of each player that we select for the chosen categories. Players chosen can be from the past or the present. But to keep it interesting, you can only use each player once. So we're going to have 10 or 12 categories here, but you can't pick like Mark Messier for 6 of them, right? So anyways, without further ado, here's the categories. And our first one is going to be wrist shot. So if you were building your perfect hockey player out of all players, past or present, whose wrist shot would you want your player to have? Gump, I'll start with you.
I knew you were going to start with me, and that's the one I got blank. Because I actually used them in a different spot, but I can't use them again. So
you could use me, Gump, since I wrist.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Because I don't have him down here, I'm going to go with Mark Messier.
Okay. Good enough. You did have a pretty good, especially coming off the off wing.
Yep.
He was really good at that. How about you, Professor?
Well, I mean, like you said past or present. So I actually did a little bit of research, not research, but I have one from the past and one from the present.
Ooh.
I got Luke Robitaille and Steven Stamkos.
So if you had to pick between the two, who would you pick?
Wow. I'd probably go with Robitaille. Just old school, hardcore
Hall of Famer.
Player, you know what I mean? I mean, Stammer's going to be a Hall of Famer as well, but just the way his wrist shot was just so deadly. I would take Robitaille.
Yeah, I get you. That's definitely a good choice. I'll tell you who mine was, and I'm going to use him right off the bat. Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
If you remember, that guy could snap a puck through a refrigerator.
Yep.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
I mean, for everything. I mean, there wasn't anything that Mario Lemieux did not do well.
Yeah.
But I mean, just watching that wrist shot of his sometimes, and it just came out of nowhere. That release was just out of this world.
Yeah, it was so fast. So fast.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, category 1 is in the book. So we got Mario Lemieux, Mark Messier, and Luke Robitaille. And coincidentally, all three are in the Hall of Fame. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving right along. So we got our wrist shot out of the way. Now everybody's favorite. We're going to pick our best slap shot DNA for our hockey players. And this time, Professor, I'm going to start with you.
Slap shot.
It's tough.
I'll keep the listeners intrigued with the past and present. So the past I went with Al McInnes. And,
good choice.
The present I went with Ovi.
Ooh. All right. So if you had to pick between the two.
I mean, everybody knows Al McInnes' shot was like one of the hardest in the league. Obviously, I only seen a short period of time with him.
Yes, because you're a young pup, unlike us.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go. I mean, I'd probably go with Ovi because I don't know how accurate McInnes was. Obviously, Ovi, on that power play, you see it all the time. You know where he's going to set up, and it seems that nobody can stop it. So I'm going to go with Ovi.
Fair enough. I mean, you can't go wrong with that choice.
Right.
The only thing I will say for McInnes was he was using those heavy wooden sticks. Compared to the rubber bands that Ovi uses, but still, that's
right. And I mean, you got to think the past and present list that I have. Most of those guys have used the wooden stick compared to the composites. So
absolutely. All right, Gumper, how about you?
Well, I don't do the past and present because present I know the past better than the present. I'm going to go with Bobby Hull.
You stole my pick.
No, that no doubt about that one. Bobby Hull.
I can't believe this. Gump and I are agreeing. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what? You're right. I mean, the originator, the guy who really started it. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that because if you recall, Boom Boom Jefferov was the originator, right? But the guy who really made the slap shot famous and terrifying was Bobby Hull. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So I can't believe this. We agreed.
Yeah.
All right, so two for Bobby Hull.
It's you two dragging each other down and trying to have a fight.
I know.
Got to break you guys up here.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to fix this real quick. I'll tell you. Can't have us being kumbaya moments all podcast. It won't be interesting. Oh man! All right, category number 3 for our ideal hockey player. Who, in your guys' opinion, was the best passer? Gumper. You.
Okay. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with my new Ranger, Panarin.
Interesting. You know what? He's actually very underrated in this category.
Yeah.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He's one of those very rare wingers that doesn't need a center to set him up, and he's actually more like a center on the wing.
Because I see him set people up all the time last year.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful passes. So, that came right to my head. Boom, right off the get-go.
And here you were just got done saying that you don't know anything about the present hockey, and 2 sentences later.
One guy. Jeez. Keep it up. You're going in the box.
Well, before I get myself a game misconduct,
Jeremy, do me a favor. First time you guys get together, put him right in the boards, will you?
He's on my team, though.
I'm on his team.
I don't care. Make it look good.
That's all right.
It was an accident, bro.
There you go. Yeah.
It could be just like throwing the water bottle out at the ref. I mean, you can do it.
And he'll be looking for the crowd. Yeah, this is for you, Gump.
You got to figure they can't call a penalty on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Thanks, pal. I'm laying on the ice twitching. Appreciate it.
Oh, then he really would have done a good job.
Yeah. So much for Kumbaya. Professor, you're up. Who, in your opinion, is the best passer that you want in your ideal hockey player?
Again, the two with the past and present. Pavel Datsyuk and Nick Lidstrom. Or Backstrom, not Lidstrom. Backstrom.
Ooh. All right, between the two.
Man, it's so hard because, I kind of want to use Pavel somewhere else down the list, but Pavel is just so deadly. Whenever he had the puck, however he had the puck. I mean, you didn't know what was going to happen. How it could have been a shot, it could have been a pass, it could have went off a skate, it could have went off his head. It was going, it was going somewhere accurately.
Right.
I would take Pavel, just because I've actually seen him live and I watched him live play his last final year in the NHL.
Really? Where'd you see him?
The Garden.
No kidding. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Pavel Brewery?
No, Pavel Datsyuk.
Oh, Datsyuk. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that guy was just absolutely incredible. And you know what's really amazing about him is he was drafted like in the 7th round?
Yeah.
Something like that. You want to talk about just the diamond in the rough.
Yeah. And I mean, I was told to get to the Garden early and watch warm-ups and just watch the stick skill that Pavel had.
Oh, yeah.
And it was unbelievable. Like the things he was doing with a puck were just, I couldn't even imagine anybody else ever doing.
Yeah. You watch him play and you would think that the puck was nailed to his blade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was just
incredible.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right. So for my passer, I mean, this one, I had to think about this one for a while because this is one of those categories you can get in trouble, right? Where you're like, oh, I just used that guy and I don't want to use him again,
Yeah.
So ultimately, I ended up going with Adam Oates.
I thought about him.
Adam, he's always been one of the underrated players of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually thought about him.
It's really, I mean, I went back through and looked at his stats and I wanted to go with Ronnie Francis there.
Yeah.
I really did. But Ronnie played longer. And to be perfectly honest with you, once Ronnie got to Pittsburgh, he had a lot of firepower around him to help boost up those assist stats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas with Oates, the only time he really had a legit sniper with him was when he had Brett Hull with him.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that's one heck of a sniper.
Right.
But throughout his career, he didn't really have a lot in the way of having that legit goal-scoring threat on his wing, and he just made it happen no matter where he went.
Yeah.
Because I think he played for like 8 different teams. So let's put it this way. I think he rented a lot in his career. I don't think he bought any houses. That's for sure. So
Right.
Okay. So passing categories in the books. And we're on to the fourth. And the fourth category is hockey IQ.
I hated this.
So in other words, who had the best hockey mind?
I hated
And I know that's kind of a vague category, but if you think about it, I think it goes along with like the whole vision category, right? Which we don't have. So you can kind of combine the two. Hockey IQ, vision, who sees the game the best. So who wants to go first? I think Gump went first last time. So Professor, I'm going to swing it over to you for hockey IQ. Who you got?
Of course you are.
That's what I do. But that's because you're going to attack me in our first game that we play together. So
yeah. I got the great one, Gretzky, and I got Jonathan Taves.
Ooh,
and
interesting.
I honestly, how can you go against the great one, to tell you the truth?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, he seemed to see the ice and be, we always say you always want to play ahead of the play or be before the play. And it seems like he was always there. So his IQ to be and see things before it happened, he was always there. Yeah. And he knew where to pass the puck before the pass was made. He knew how to be there. So I would pick. Not saying that Jonathan Taves doesn't, but the great one is the great one for a reason.
Yeah, it's not even close to Gretzky. And I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag. I picked Gretzky too. Did you know that when Gretzky was a kid, that he would sit in front of the TV watching Hockey Night in Canada?
Yeah.
And he wouldn't watch the game. He would just pick a player on a piece of paper and just stencil on his paper where that player was going. And that's kind of how he developed his ability to. It's incredible. I mean, just these little tiny things that you don't think of that, Yeah.
Skating.
Well, yeah, just watch where that player went is what his whole thing was.
Yeah.
Huh. How about you, Gump? Who in your mind has the best
you'll get a
hockey
nice laugh out of this, and you two, but
sure we will.
I don't care. I Howie Meeker.
Well, Boy, that's a blast from the past,
Now,
man.
yeah, well, 1948, he got one night off because he had to take my mother to the hospital when I was going to have a baby, and that was it. So he happened to stop. My father was working, and Howie stopped. Said, "Hi, how you doing?"
Huh?
No, but I liked Howie Meeker. I used to listen to him talk all the
Wait,
time.
whoa, time out. You were born in August, so what was he, like a drinking partner, or what was it?
Well, yeah, I had the night off. I told you, I had the night off. Yeah.
Lightning just hit really
I
close.
think so. Did not take long for this show to go off the rails there.
To me, Howie Meeker was the smartest man in the game of hockey.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit before our time, but yeah, that's, definitely.
Not before mine, though. So that's
Well, that's definitely true, and I'm glad to hear that he was there for your birth. Congratulations!
Look, you're more gullible than your mother was.
Yeah, but she ended up getting the last laugh. Believe me.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, next category is leadership, and this is another one of those categories where you can get yourself into trouble because if you use one player too soon, now you're out on this category. So, Gumper, since we just got done hearing about Howie Meeker, and you can't use him.
I can't use him, but I can
who's your
tell
best leader?
There ain't no doubt about it. And you guys have already used him. Wayne Gretzky.
Whoa!
I think he was
Really?
Well, everybody and their grandmother looked up to him,
Oh, that's,
and his word was like God's. It was it. That was it. Whatever he said went on 90% of the time,
or 99% of the time.
Well, that's true too.
Wow.
But I'm saying, I think
I'll show
I see
myself
what you
out.
did there. I see what you did there.
You see that? Well, no, the reason I was so stunned was because, when I was growing up, you weren't a big Gretzky fan until he got to New York.
No, well, sure. But great,
he tortured your teams all the time. I understand that, but
I mean, look through the year. Everybody, kids, everywhere you went, there was Gretzky shirts and Gretzky jerseys. And he was he was a leader. He was a leader of the NHL. He was a leader of ice hockey, period.
True story. Good pick. All right, Professor, how about you?
Messier.
I had a feeling that was coming. I actually penciled that in for your and certainly not a bad pick, that's for sure. The guy known for being a leader. As a matter of fact, the annual leadership award is known as the Mark Messier Award that they hand out to who they feel is the best leader for their team. So, yeah, I think that one kind of goes without saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of, not that there isn't one, but I can't think of a present leader like Messier. Somebody that literally just goes out there and, he was a captain. I mean, we have there's been a lot of good captains. But I mean, to literally go out there and, lay his body down and, go and go. I mean, Bergeron, probably. But, I mean, there was nothing like Messier just doing his thing.
And guaranteeing a win in the playoffs.
It guaranteed it. Like, I mean, and it wasn't the fact that he was being cocky about it. I mean, he was a little, obviously. But the team rallied around that.
Sure.
Normal teams will, what do we got to do? We actually have to win. The pressure was completely brushed aside. It was like, all right, you know what? We can do this, and we will do this.
Yeah, because they were actually down in that series at that point against the Devils. It was the 94 Eastern Conference Finals. They were down 3-2.
Yep.
So I'll tell you.
You can't make a guarantee like that. I mean, you're playing your rival to begin with. So, I mean, that's hard. That's hard enough even to make that guarantee.
And going into the Meadowlands on top of it.
I mean, you can't. That was unheard of back then. It's like, we're going to guarantee this victory in the playoffs, going away on the road against our rival, and we're going to win. Like, who does that? I mean, I get it. It lit the fire under the guys' asses, but I mean, nobody does that.
As I recall, he got a hat trick in that game too, didn't he?
He did.
Just unreal. And I'll tell you, I wanted to go with Messier so bad. I really did, because that is honestly a fantastic choice. But I couldn't, because I knew somebody was going to pick him. And I'm like, I can't do the whole Kumbaya thing if I can avoid it. Because I got to be a contrarian, right? I got to be that guy that's just going to argue for the sake of arguing.
Oh, yeah.
So I went with Stevie Y.
Yeah, that's another one.
One of the youngest captains in NHL history. He was 18 years old, I think, when they named him captain in Detroit.
I believe he still holds that record.
Yeah, I mean, 23 years straight, he was captain of the Detroit Red Wings. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's a storied franchise in itself. You think about the leaders that they had. I mean, I'm thinking back to like Ted Lindsay, Gordie Howe, Sid Abel. I mean, it was just the list goes on and on. Yeah. But like I said, I just more or less because I didn't want to agree with everybody. And I got no problem having Stevie Y's leadership DNA in my ideal hockey player. I'll tell you that right now.
I wouldn't either. I would not either.
Oh, boy. Okay. So the next category is going to be the best stick handler. This isn't the best shooter. This isn't the best passer. This is the guy who can weave his way through traffic, get through anything. And you want his DNA into your player so that your player can do the same. So, Professor, who, in your opinion, is the best stick handler for your ideal hockey player?
Let me see. Now, this one was tough because I picked Datsuk for the passing. And, Datsuk was a hell of a stick handler. But, there's another one. There's two other ones that are out there. There's many that are out there. One of which that's still playing. I believe he's probably, they say he's in his 74th year of playing professional hockey. And I mean, if you think about that, that's kind of crazy. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but the past player is Jaromir Jagr.
Sure.
And the present would be Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Forgot about him.
I mean, I get it. Maybe Jagr may not be the best stick handler, but I haven't seen many people able to take the puck off a stick. Yeah, he's using his strength. He's using his body. Okay.
And his mullet.
And there's a category going down, and I was kind of mad at myself. I'm like, how do I? I'll just think of somebody else. But I did. I had to go with Jagr. I got to go with Jagr with that one because even looking at Connor McDavid, yeah, he's strong and fast and everything else. He's got all the accolades that Jaromir has, but I just think Jaromir is he's just that guy that
sure
you couldn't. You try to body check him, all you do is you fall down.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, sure, there's a lot of power behind that. I mean, was there stick handling? Sure, there has to be because you got to be able to – you're stick handling with one hand at that point.
Right.
So, I'm going to go with Jagr.
Yeah, and it keeps McDavid open for another category.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Gumper, who you got?
I didn't know who to pick on this one, so I just went with Mario Lemieux.
Not a bad choice at all. It's just Lemieux.
I'll just throw that guy.
What he was doing.
Just some loser.
But, guys, I'm just glad that he said Mario because I was waiting for him to say something like Claude. Like Claude Lemieux.
Isn't it Conor McGregor?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny that actually segues into what my pick was because I said Pavel Datsuk because the amount of ankles that were broken trying to poke check his stick handling. And now that you mentioned Conor McGregor, I'm sorry, broken ankle, it all works.
Yeah, it works.
Wow, Dave, you just came out right out of nowhere with that.
I knew I could save this for you.
You are just basically like a hockey ninja. Yeah. Just out of nowhere. Boom.
Out of nowhere. Yeah.
Wrist shots, zingers.
Yeah.
Comparisons, not bad.
No. I mean, another guy. He's a young guy. I mean, we really haven't seen. I mean, obviously we've all seen him. Is Cal McCarr?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, the way he moves. He makes people look really, really dumb real quick.
Isn't that a song? The way he moves or the way she moves.
I don't know.
Now we got to look, Dave. That's your next assignment for your video. You got to find it.
I'm sorry, I had to do a Top Gun theme for you.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. So.
Why not? You're gonna be in the video.
Nope.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
No, it's Hello Autumn. Hello Autumn. Hello Autumn. Hello Autumn.
My screen shows something totally different, Jeremy. Photoshop is just a miracle tool.
That's what they say, anyhow. All right, fellas. So we're through 6 categories.
What'd you have for stick handling? Who'd you have?
Pavel Datsuk.
Okay.
The Magic Man. There's a reason they call him the Magic Man, and that was one of them.
All right.
Right.
All right, we get that down. Go ahead.
All right. So, guys, we got a lot of finesse in our players so far. We got some great shooting in our players so far, but we don't have any toughness yet.
I can't wait. I love these categories. I can't wait.
The next couple of categories are going to be really interesting. We're going to toughen this guy up because if you're going to be the ideal hockey player, damn it, you got to be tough. So I'm going to ask you guys, as far as checking goes, who, in your opinion, would you want body checking DNA into your player? Let's see. Gump, I'm going to go to you. I can remember who I asked first last time.
Very simple. Larry Robinson.
Great choice. Great choice. I was actually thinking about him. I really was. That guy was like 6'4", 220, something like that. Could you imagine getting lit up by him?
Snot right out of Dave Schultz, too. Oh, I loved every minute of that. Hit him again.
And then he went on to a great coaching career, Schultz did.
Yes, he did.
As we know from our other episode.
So did Robinson.
Well, Robinson actually won the Stanley Cup. I was being facetious when I was talking. But how about you there, Professor?
Scotty Stevens.
Oh, man, you stole my pick. Oh, my God. I can't believe we're going to have an agreement again.
You know, I the other one I went with the present guy is Cal Clutterbuck.
All right.
I mean, yeah, obviously there's other ones out there, but, between somebody that can really just, check you and forget about you, Scotty was
blow you up, basically.
over the middle.
But you know what? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just, going over the middle, I still remember hits. I remember watching him in the odd. His hits were just ungodly.
Oh, yeah.
You just did not want to be on the receiving end of one of those.
You know what? You know what's really funny, too, is if you watch some of the hits that he dealt out back in the 90s, there's no way they would be legal nowadays.
No, not one of them. There's not one.
They'd probably arrest him now. But
well, there's not one of them. And I think that's
exactly
the funny part is that, we're trying to build the hockey player. But the thing is that they're not legal now.
Well, listen.
They're completely legal hits. I mean,
back then,
They're players going over the middle with their head down.
Sure. Well, they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Sure. There are hits where, you have the numbers facing the boards and he goes in and just cleans them out, which is still illegal till this day. But those hits that are going over the middle, what's so illegal about them? I mean, they're vicious.
Oh, yeah.
What's illegal about them? I mean, there's not one thing. What are you going to call? Interference? Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're calling a penalty just to call a penalty at that point.
Well, sure they are. I mean, there's not, granted, you don't want, blatant headshots. But I mean, I think nowadays with a hard body check, even if you get all shoulder, because of the way the head snaps back, it's the visual of it all. It's the visual,
Visual, absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. And you know what? I cannot have the same pick as you guys. I can't. And he took my second pick. Gump did. Larry Robinson. Mm-hmm. So I'm picking again. Okay. And I'm going with Chris Pronger.
Okay. I liked him. I liked Eric Lindros, but Lindros and Scotty Stevens. I mean, Lindros lost that battle.
Sure did.
So I had to take Scotty Stevens.
Yeah, I think there was a no doubt about it on that one. But but Proger's just another one of those big, mean, and nasty.
Big guy. Yeah.
Nasty too. Had a wicked nasty streak to him.
Yep.
So, well, I'll tell you what though. By the looks of things, at least our player is going to be certainly tough and sizable now, anyways.
I know.
So moving right along, which segues me into if you're going to be big and tough and nasty and throw out all kinds of body checks, you better be able to drop the gloves. So, with that said, Professor, who are you bringing in for fighting DNA into your perfect ideal player?
Probert.
Hey, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Bobby Probert. Has to be. Him, that's the past guy. Obviously, the present guy. The present guy, I'm going to go with the newest Ranger there is Ryan Reeves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, present, sure. Absolutely. So, absolutely.
But Bobby Probert, I mean,
yeah.
Why not?
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, he was the defending champ. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah. I mean, you got Donald Brashear out there too, but I mean, for pound for
Marty,
pound,
the namesake of the show.
Yeah, Marty, exactly. Well, there's another category I was going to pick him for, but I didn't. Well, I'm going to go with Bobby Probert on that one.
Okay, real good choice. I mean, how do you go wrong with Bob Probert? Right? How about you, Gump?
Brophy.
Whoa,
yeah,
nice.
Well, the old timer a few weeks ago talked about how he'd cut you up, beat you up.
Yeah, because Brophy wasn't just his fist. I mean, he'd use his stick. He'd smack you with his stick and didn't care about it either. Right. No doubt about it. That's another fantastic choice. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go blast from the past too. I wanted to go Probert. I knew that was kind of like the low-hanging fruit, right? I wanted to go with Marty. He's the namesake of this show.
I knew you were going to. That's why I didn't take him.
I wanted to go with former guest of ours, Dale Purrington.
Well, I was going to. I was going to, but talking to him, and I obviously I've had many conversations with him. And, asking him who was the worst person to fight on the ice or who was the toughest guy you've ever seen. And he never fought Bob Probert, but he said that he was the guy that nobody wanted to mess with.
Sure.
In Dale's time, he said Brashear by far was the man to be afraid of. And Dale will say till this day that he did not want to fight him. When they locked up, it was when he would look up and see his fists up, he could have swore that they were cinder blocks. And that's what they felt like. So, like I said, Brashear was one of the guys. Dale's one of the guys too. He is up there, but for him to, pass the torch on to other guys, it's, you kind of got to go with.
And see, I thought you were just getting back at him for it's the little things. Thought for sure. For my pick, I am going with an homage to the past and a local past at that. I want former Clinton comic Ian Anderson covering my back anytime. Anytime. And that's just because there's so many legendary stories about this guy. I want him in the DNA ideal hockey player milkshake here. So that's what I'm picking for my fighting DNA. All right, moving right along. Now, hockey players are known for their flow. Well, all-star anyway. I never had any. That's probably why I'm not very good. But anyways, amongst other things. But you know what? A lot of players have had some fantastic hair going on. So, Gump, who, in your opinion, has the best hockey hair?
Well, there's two that comes to mind right off the get-go. And you can't use two players, so I'm going to go with Ronnie Duguay.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about him. That's a great pick. Nice pick.
The other one was Derek Sanderson. So.
Oh, yeah. Good. Very good. But nobody rocked those Sassoon jeans like Ron Duguay.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah.
How about you, Professor?
Now, this is where I was going to put in Marty. But I couldn't do it. Because I figured you were probably looking at him for other things or maybe even for this category. But for this pick, I did go with Barry Melrose.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. You talk about the mullet.
Yes. That's right. Great pick.
And he still rocks it. That's the best part. Still rocks it.
You know what's great about Melrose's mullet? Is that he rocks it with the gel.
Yes.
Most players, you can't put the gel because, the sweat's going to cause the gel to run under their eyes. But he doesn't have to worry about that.
Right.
He's behind the bench or in the studio. He's like, you guys go ahead. I'm just loading up. It's all good.
This was a hard category because you said just the hair. Arm
hair?
Well, no. You didn't mention beards.
Oh, yeah.
So they always have the playoff beard, but nowadays you see teams. Literally, you see one guys that won't shave for the whole season.
Your buddy up in Clinton there, up the odd. Oh, he played for the Comets. He come down with the kids with the big beard.
Oh, Saucerman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Saucerman.
Bolton Saucerman.
Yeah. But I thought of it do we go with hair or do we go with beard? So, obviously you can't go wrong with Joe Thornton for the beard. You can't.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to go. I like Gary for that.
I'll give you that. I'll give you a double there just because you thought of a new category.
Yeah.
Way to go. And, now that you mentioned beards, maybe we should have thrown one in for the lack of beard because if you ever know some players try to grow a beard and they can't. It's like patches.
Sidney Crybaby.
So you ever seen that movie?
Yes, Sidney Crybaby. You got that 100% right. Yes.
That's why it just goes with the mustache.
All over his face. It's like, dude, did you ever hit puberty? Or are you what are you trying to do?
You ever seen that movie, The Burbs? Remember the weird neighbor, the patchy beard that he had?
Yes, that's exactly. Yes.
Who Jeremy end up taking?
For hair, he took Barry Melrose. But
that's
beard,
right.
he went with Joe Thornton. And I am going to go with Al Iafredi. And just because I can sympathize, bald on top, rocking the ring around the head.
On the back. Yep.
That's exactly what I would look like if I didn't get a haircut. So I got to go with him.
Oh, boy.
Just a few more categories to get through, boys, and we're going to have our ideal hockey player. And the next one is skating. Of course, if you're going to play hockey, you got to be able to skate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Professor, who do you want your player to skate like?
I hated this category. Present, Pavel Bure. Or past Pavel Bure, and present would be Cal McCarr.
Okay, pick one.
I don't know. That's just
Flip a coin.
Pavel was like a rocket. Obviously, did have moves.
Well, yeah, that's why they call him the Russian Rocket.
Yeah, Cal McCarr can stop on a dime, and I don't think anything's stopping to go with him.
And he's got the moves like Jagger.
Stop it.
I'll show myself out.
All right, let's go. Moving on. I haven't picked any present guys or any young guys. I'll go with Cal McCarr.
Okay.
Only because he is the younger guy, and he's like I said, he stops and goes and turns and
He dips easy doodles.
It makes my hips hurt when I watch him play. So
you ain't getting there. Gump, how about you?
Well, because I haven't used him yet tonight, I'll go with that Connor McDavid guy there.
Oh my God, I can't believe we agreed twice.
You picked him too?
I picked. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many great skaters throughout the history of the league, but I mean, McDavid just does things that cannot be replicated and have never been seen before. And so, yeah, I'm not even going to bother picking anybody else. It's McDavid, and there's just no ifs, and, ors, or buts about it. So, all right. So, our next category. If we're going to have an ideal hockey player, this guy's got to have some personality. He's got to have that gift of the gab. He's got to be able to give an interesting interview.
No, that's where you were going with that? I was going with the trash talker.
That too. Oh. It doesn't matter. It's just gift of the gab.
All right.
Who you got, Professor?
Well, for the present guy, I got Brad Marchand, which obviously I'm not going to take because I don't like rats. So I had to go with a guy from the past, and I was split between Sean Avery and Matthew Barnaby.
Wow.
So I picked Matthew Barnaby only because he was honestly able to back it up.
Okay.
Avery, yeah, he chirped, he trash talked, but he always seemed to cradle when he got into a fight. Barnaby would get hit and pretty much blow you a kiss right after you hit him.
He's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Avery.
I'm gonna go with Barnaby.
All right, fair enough. Gumper, how about you?
Well, I'm not in the details as good as you guys are because you guys are right with the program all the time. I'm going to go with Don Cherry.
Ooh, I really thought about him. Yes.
His mouth, I've listened to his mouth for 20 years or better.
The original hockey big mouth right there, that's for sure. No, that's a great pick.
But he had to be a big mouth because some of the clothes he wore, good Lord.
You know what, though? I was always hoping that someday you would get clothes like that.
Oh, yeah.
It would be awesome. Yeah. Could you imagine that? Maybe someday.
There you go, Scotty. Just dress them up for our hockey games and have them sit at the arena.
Guys, Christmas is coming.
I tell you, I will dress up like that only if I can go to the hockey game and watch Jeremy knock the snot out of you.
It's a deal. You know what? It's a deal.
No, it's beyond that. I'm going to be there filming the game.
Fine.
Oh,
but you got to film him dressed like Don Cherry.
No, that's why I'm going.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, I can see it now. I'll be on the ice dead before he gets you.
And listen, do me a favor. When I'm getting put on the stretcher, will you stop recording?
No, that's when I shine.
Oh, great. I'll be unconscious anyway. I won't know the difference.
You've seen my action shots like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, well, and I've felt them firsthand. Yes, of course. For me, and this is just because I just think the guy's hilarious. Brizgalov. Brizzy. Yeah, if you don't know him, look him up on YouTube. It's hilarious. It's just absolutely hilarious. Some of his observations, and nobody quite like him. So,
hey, you could put Torts in that category if you wanted to.
You could. Geez. You really could. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't. I'm surprised you guys didn't.
I'm not a Torch fan.
I wasn't a Torch guy.
Me either. Not at all. I just flat out don't like him.
I liked his press conferences. Hated him. Didn't like him as a coach.
Yeah. Well, now you get to like him in the studio because that's where he's headed.
Yeah.
One last category, guys, and we're going to have our ideal hockey players put together, and that is the drive category. So this is the guy that just can't stand to lose. Will do anything he's got to do to win. And I'll start off with you, Professor. Who's that guy for you?
For the past, I went with Raymond Bork.
Okay.
And for the present, I went with Joe Thornton.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Bork. Only because the guy has the drive to win. Like whatever he wanted to do, whatever he had to do, he wanted to win. So I'm not saying that Thornton didn't, but I just think I liked Bork's drive better.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, like you said, you didn't want goal. I figured you didn't want goalies. That's why I wasn't going to pick a goalie. But I mean, you could have put Wah in this category. You could have put Brodeur in this category. You could have put.
You could have. I just figured goalies are going to be
drive.
Just their own entity. You know,
Yeah.
they're on their own planet.
Right.
And I'm sure any goalie listening to that will agree with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gump, how about you?
Okay, you're going to get a big charge out of this. All of you will.
Again? I don't know how many more charges I can stand.
You'll get a big laugh out of this.
Getting defibrillated over here.
And it's not because of his drive. It's because of his lack of drive. Jack Eichel.
Jeez. Oh boy.
I said you said you wanted to have some fun. There it is.
Well, there it is. Yeah. And Gump's ideal hockey player just got sent to the minors. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's
Or no, he got sent to Buffalo and he's just going to sit there.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to close it out with the Rocket Maurice Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah.
A guy who just could not stand to lose at all. So, anyways, pretty interesting, guys. I'd love to see what this could possibly look like. I'm not very good with computers. Hey, Dave, you're good with computers and all that. No. Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to put that kind of effort into that.
Just checking.
All right.
Just asking.
Yeah.
You know, you could have gone into the ideal producer category. That's okay. That's okay.
I missed that category.
When you first showed me this, I said, what are you, nuts? That ain't going to be any fun. Well, we'll have more fun with this than anything we've done so far.
Yeah, than being on a losing streak.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to continue.
Well, Jack Eichel's got his players' drive, so we'll see where this goes. Well, that was fun, guys. We'll have to do something like that again for the goalies at some other point. So we're going to end this segment like we always do with Breakaway Trivia. Breakaway Trivia is brought to you by Jimmy the Iceman McNeil's children's book, The Red and White Zamboni Ice Machine. You can order your copy by emailing Jimmy at mac_iceman@hotmail.com. So this week's Breakaway Trivia question is, there are two players who hold the NHL record for most games played in one regular season with 86. Name one of them. The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
Again, I just love that commercial. I'm actually surprised, though, that you haven't taken a still from you ripping one by my head and incorporated that into that commercial. I just gave you an idea, didn't I?
Yeah.
See that?
Nah, that doesn't fit.
Stick with me, kid. You'll go places.
That doesn't fit.
Oh, boy. So we're going to start off segment 2 of Hockey Hot Takes. And like always, we're going to start off with the answer to Breakaway Trivia. So the question one more time is, there are two players who hold the NHL record for most games played in one regular season with 86. Name one of them. And I'm even going to give you guys a hint. When we had Jim Thompson on as our guest a few weeks back, he mentioned the name of one of those players. Any guesses?
I hate you.
Marcel Leon.
Nope.
Okay, I lost again.
Professor.
He's looking towards heaven.
It's not Marlowe.
Nope.
I don't know.
So the answer is Jimmy Carson and Bob Kadelsky.
Oh.
And Jimmy Thompson had mentioned Bob Kadelsky because he was traded for him from Ottawa. And the reason they both played in 86 games, because at that time the regular season was 80 games. But because of trades and the way their team schedules lined up,
they
ended up playing more than a regular season. So they got playoff games without getting playoff games. How do you like that? Yes, I know you guys are so stunned you're silent. All right, so with that said, we're going to move on. Happy birthday to former Utica Comet Reed Boucher. He turned 28 on the 8th, which is actually today as we're recording. He's over in the KHL now. I think he plays for Omsk, something like that. I don't know. I missed him with the Comets, though. What a goal scorer that guy was.
Oh, he was awesome to watch.
He really was.
It's
really too bad he never caught on in the NHL because he was a heck of a player. And speaking of heck of a player, happy birthday to Hall of Fame goalie Rogie Vachon. Rogie turns 76, well, also on the 8th, which is, well, today as we're recording. So he was another one, just totally underrated. Unfortunately, he was playing out in L.A. when L.A. wasn't, the most popular team, and they were kind of forgotten because they were, well, let's face it, they weren't that great back then either. So, but no doubt a deserving Hall of Famer is Rogie Vachon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving right along, the Montreal Canadiens decided not to match the offer sheet to Jesperi Kotkaniemi, meaning he is now a Carolina Hurricane. The Hurricanes had to give Montreal their first-round pick and their third-round pick this season as compensation. The Canadiens, in turn, traded a 2022 first-round pick and a 2024 second-round pick to the Arizona Coyotes for center Christian Dvorak. So, guys, which of these three teams made out the best out of this whole deal?
Carolina.
You think so?
And they got the player, right?
Yeah, but they paid him $6.1 million.
The money aspect of it, no. But for a player, yeah, you got a player. And not only that, in a team that is a contender.
Yeah, but I don't know. He was supposed to get like maybe $2.5 million per year on his next contract. Well, I get why, they wanted to get back at Montreal for the whole Sebastian Aho thing. I get it.
Yeah.
But now, guess what? Because he accepted that, or because Montreal didn't match that offer, now they're up against the cap.
Yeah, exactly.
They used up all their cap space on a prank. I mean, Dvorak's got 4 years left at $4.4 million per season, I think, something like that. So it's not like it really overly helps Montreal. I actually think Arizona made out best. I mean, did you see they got? No, look, think of it this way:
they're a young squad too. They're in good shape.
Well, the draft picks are stockpiling. They've got 31 draft picks over the next 3 drafts, including 8 in the first 2 rounds of this coming year's draft. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. If you really break that down, that's crazy to think about.
It is. It's nuts. I mean, granted, those prospects, those picks have to hit.
Right. Yeah. But still, to have that many picks, I mean, you figure out of all of those picks, 5.
Yeah. Even if 10 become NHL players.
Right.
Right. So, got an opinion on that, Gump? Or
well, I was thinking Canadians in the beginning because of the way the draft picks bounced out,
right?
And I thought maybe, Canadians made a pretty good deal there.
Well, you're right because they didn't lose a first round pick after all.
No, they didn't, and they got they gained the 3rd round and they lost the 4th. So that's
a second.
No,
second round pick in 2024.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
that's all right.
Second
2024. So
yeah, that's where I got to screw up. Okay, but anyway. Yeah, I thought Montreal, but after what you said, with all those draft picks, holy moly!
I know, right?
In a funny way, I guess the team that really made out here is probably Toronto because now they don't have to deal with them.
I can't help it. Every time I hear Kokaniemi's name, all I can think of is that Barry Manilow song, "The Copacabana."
Yeah.
At the Kokaniemi,
Oh, jeez.
the hottest spot north of the Raleigh.
Yeah, I think the firehouse is called.
Yeah, and what ratings we had just plummeted. Oh, okay. But guys, speaking of the Coyotes, reports are out that say they are looking to build a new arena in the city of Tempe, Arizona. I want to ask you guys, is it worth it at this point to try one more time with a new arena, or should they just relocate? All the trouble that they've had in Arizona so far, I mean, granted, they've had a few good years, and I know their arena situation wasn't ideal, especially this current one, this Gila River arena they played. I guess it's out in the middle of nowhere. So Tempe is right outside of Phoenix. But what do you think? Is it worth it?
I don't know. Only because, I mean, their team it's starting to get there. You can see it. You can see them start turning, and they're starting to click, and they're starting to gel, and they're starting to, they're getting there. Yes, they're young. And I don't know, with the fan base having them be so bad for so long, maybe that would be the reason. But again, the young team that is actually good and actually fun to watch. Do you want to try to risk moving the team out of the state and putting them somewhere else?
I'd leave them there. I'd go over the arena, like he says, because these guys now they're starting to build a team.
Yeah,
is what they're doing, and I think to take that out of there would ruin that rate. Everything they worked hard for would be out the window. But that's my personal opinion.
And where would they go?
Yeah,
because the league's not going to want to move them out of the Western Conference. They finally have balance. So forget about Quebec City.
Oh, good God, no.
So it'll probably be something like Houston or Kansas City. I'll tell you.
Like the old Scouts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could, right? I think they should stay. I think if they're going to be, if the state and the city and whatnot are willing to help build the arena with all those draft picks and all that. And here's another little interesting tidbit, right? With being so young, they're going to have so much cap space for the next few years.
Yeah.
Take a wild guess as to who becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2024.
Don't know.
Toronto Maple Leafs superstar and Arizona native Austin Matthews. So, in other words,
what do you go
Arizona is going to be able to back up the Brinks truck and say, hey, come on home.
Yep.
We've got a ton of young players. We got a brand new arena, and you are going to be the centerpiece of everything we do here. So
it could be it.
If the Leafs let him get to that point, or if he decides he wants to get to that point, my guess would be in a few years, Austin Matthews is going to be the highest paid player in hockey, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I think it's a good idea for them to at least. Why not? What else are you going to do?
Here's the thing: is he going to leave? I mean, this has got to be Toronto's last hurrah, right?
Well, they're going to have an awful hard time. You know why? Because they're so top heavy with contracts.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to go.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to re-sign Morgan Riley this offseason unless they get some kind of a miracle trade to free up some cap space. But even so, they're still going to have to lose somebody.
Right. Right.
No, I think that's the one to watch for. And I think if you're the Coyotes, you do everything possible to stay in Arizona, basically for that reason.
I think so too. I think they're going to have to.
And here's another thing, because now Arizona State University has actually got a successful college hockey team.
Yes.
Guess where they play? Tempe. They're drawing crazy crowds for that. So it just makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And I know there's always you're always going to have that element that wants relocation. We want teams in new cides, and who's to say it's going to work out there?
Right.
The state of Arizona is going to win all the way around. They can't go wrong there.
What do you mean?
With the hockey team at the college level, the pro level, it's good. It's going to just
so long as the Coyotes stay.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's okay. You were confused me for a second there.
No, that's easy.
In this next category, you guys are going to love. Sidney Crosby had wrist surgery today and will miss at least the next 6 weeks. It looks like Gino Malkin's going to miss training camp with a knee injury, and he may not be ready for the start of the season. So I want to ask you guys, is this a sign of things to come for the Penguins?
Sure.
What do you want me to do? Cry?
They're probably going to want to.
You tried to grow a beard.
Now you're going to get all these teams that are going to go hack and slash Crosby. He's going to go down crying. He's going to get the call. So it's going to help him.
It's a wrist injury, though. And do you think maybe that because well, see, I guess the story is I guess
which hand is it?
They didn't say. They said it's been bothering him for a while, and they were trying to do all the the minimally invasive procedures and all that.
Yeah,
and it didn't. That's why they waited so long. So now he had to have the surgery. It's at least 6 weeks, which will put him into towards the end of October to come back. So he's only going to miss like a week or two of the regular season if he stays on the timeline.
Right.
But what I'm saying to you is, with him having, well, let's say an injury history now, Malkin's always had one.
Right.
And let's face it, the Penguins are getting old.
Oh, yeah. They
didn't do anything to upgrade their goaltending, really. Could this be the season that's the end of the line for the Penguins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Boy, you Ranger fans answered that awful quickly. We didn't have to worry about crickets there, did we, Dave?
No. We could run that tune.
I think it could. I think they've kind of aged themselves out, to be honest with you. And that Metropolitan Division is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You never want to bet against Sidney Crosby. It's kind of like betting against Tom Brady. But at what point does this not start to fall apart a little bit?
Right.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure the Penguins will probably, like they always do. Every time I say, they're done. They always end up making the playoffs. But whatever.
Oh, they'll make the playoffs. I'm sure they will.
You think so, though? I mean, that whole Eastern Conference is tough. As far as with the new format, right? With the top three teams in each division, and then only 2 wild cards.
I think they'll make it. I mean, like you said, you can't count them out. And the moment you do count them out is, it's when they make it, and they'll sweep their series, whatever they go into. I mean, that's what they'll do. So I'm going to go.
Well, they've been bouncing the first round of the past couple of years by the Islanders. So
yeah, and that team's no joke right now.
No, they got everybody back, and they got Zach Parise. Did you see that? He's going to sign with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not really worried about him. I mean, he's become like a utility guy that when he's out there, he can, do the power play and keep the puck in the zone. He's a smart player. He's not the young guy anymore that you got to be worried about him, but he's not the superstar you got to be worried about.
Right. Well, like I said, it's going to be a dogfight all season long.
Oh yeah.
And let's face it. I mean, the Devils are improved in that division. Yep. Philadelphia took steps to improve.
Yeah.
You know what? Again, like I said, you don't really want to bet against the Penguins, but if there's going to be a season where it falls apart,
this will be it.
I think you might be seeing the end of the line. I really do. And boy, wouldn't it be something if it was the Penguins and the Caps that both kind of had their downfall at the same time? Boy, I knew that bring a smile to your guys' face.
I'm sorry. Did I just laugh? I didn't realize I laughed out loud.
Yes, Jeremy, that was the out loud voice.
He didn't realize he was on camera.
Yeah.
Definitely did not filter that.
Oh boy. Well, since it's been kind of a slow week in the hockey world, that's all we got for hockey hot takes. Hopefully we'll have more for you next week. But anyways, we're going to end this segment like we always do with Website of the Week. Website of the Week is brought to you by 315hockey.com. 315hockey.com is your news hub for all levels of hockey in Central New York. This week's Website of the Week is Amazon.com. Why Amazon? Well, because Amazon is where you can find tons of hockey books, including the new one by my buddy, Ryan Cowley. It's called All the Right Words, My Journey as a Sports Writer Who Stutters. He's one of my colleagues over at Hockey Royalty. He's a heck of a guy and an amazing writer. That's all I got to say. So if you really want to have a good hockey read, go ahead and grab his book. So anyways, that's it for segment 2. We're going to take our last break, and when we come back, we're going to take a ride on that Zamboni Time Machine. We'll be back.
I'm out of here, guys.
Take it easy, Jeremy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Need to find that gift for someone special? Visit Little Falls Presents at the Stone Mill and Canal Place. Stop by today to find unique artist work, t-shirts, coffee cups, gift towels, greeting cards, tote bags, koozies, and original oil paintings and prints. It's all about the art of the gift. For more information, visit mylittlefalls.com/shop or call 315-508-5310 for details.
So as you guys might have heard, right before we went to commercial break, Jeremy said, see you later. We got him so excited about the Penguins' downfall that he couldn't do the show anymore.
He left. He just,
That was it. He's like, I'm leaving on a high note. I'm gone.
capitalism. No,
Bye.
I'm gone.
Yeah, you guys can love Tom Wilson all you want. I'm out. See ya. Mic drop.
He knew we were going to run. I love Tom Wilson. He knew it was coming.
No, he actually has a fantasy football draft to get to, even though we're starting the season tomorrow for football. Talk about waiting until the last second. I'm making sure nobody is injured.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Yeah, so now that little sidebar is over with, let's get to that Zamboni Time Machine, shall we? The Zamboni Time Machine is brought to you by Zamboni.com, and the Zamboni name is used with permission from the Zamboni Company. This week, the Zamboni Time Machine takes us back to December of 1910, when the Montreal Canadiens signed legendary goaltender George Vezina. Hockey was a much different game in the early part of the 20th century. Professional teams of all sports would often barnstorm to small towns all over the North American continent to play amateur or semi-pro teams of the small towns they played in. Such was the case in February of 1910, when the Canadiens arrived in the small town of Chicoutimi, Quebec. Almost couldn't say that. To play a team sponsored by the local Price Brothers pulp mill. The Canadiens should have blown this team out, but didn't, thanks to the efforts of their diminutive goaltender named George Vezina. Although he had learned to play hockey just 5 years prior to this game, Vezina was a brick wall in goal. By December of that year, the Canadiens had signed him, and the legend was born. Vezina's world revolved around hockey. His first son was the first baby to be photographed while sitting in the cup. The second son was born just a couple hours before the Canadiens were to play a Stanley Cup clinching game. But that did not stop Vezina from playing in the game. In fact, he won that game and then named the newborn son Marcel Stanley. Interesting. Despite his tiny stature, Vezina was very durable. He started in 328 straight regular season games and 39 straight playoff games. He was also the first goaltender to record an NHL shutout. Tragedy struck on November 28, 1925. He was forced to leave a game after the first period of a game against the Pittsburgh Hockey Pirates from coughing up too much blood. He was diagnosed with tuberculosis and the next day, and then he died in March of the following year. The Montreal Canadiens donated the Vezina Trophy at the start of the 1926 season in his honor, and to this day, it is still given to the NHL's best goaltender. And that, my friends, concludes this week's trip on the Zamboni Time Machine.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's, it's too bad. It's but that's like I call Rich Chicoutimi Rich Masucci.
I know.
We had talked about that at one point, and that's kind of where that comes from.
I wondered where that came from.
The Chicoutimi cucumber is actually known as Vezina.
Oh.
And you want to know why? Because the sports writer said he was cool as a cucumber.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
I like it.
Yeah. So much so that Jeremy left, and he missed that.
Well, it wasn't as good as the flaming chest, but
Well, maybe the cucumber should have been with him then.
yeah.
He could have put him out.
Yeah. Throw cucumber juice all over him.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, guys, that was fun. But unfortunately, that comes to the end of our episode, and that's all we got. So you can find us on martyslegalstick.com, and we're also on Facebook and Twitter at Marty's Legal Stick Hockey Podcast. We're on YouTube and on all major podcast platforms under My Little Falls. So for the departed Professor Jeremy Roberts, for Leo Gump Kinville, for Dave the Save Warner, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.